Where you see standing water in your backyard, you're going to want to put an inlet basin. We're going to show you how to build two systems in one. You're going to take your sweat equity from one trench and you're going to put two systems in it. We're going to do a horseshoe system around this backyard. We have a backyard, 3 sides. We're going to go through it together. I'm going to show you how we laid it out. I'm going to explain the design process, and I'm going to show you the whole build process. This is going to be a complete guide to yard drainage. Everywhere there's standing water, we're going to have a solid pipe with an inline catch basin. You're going to see us run these in series on a solid pipe, and then we're going to put a French drain underneath it to take all the subsurface water so that the yard will no longer be soft and spongy. We're then going to take it to a sump pump, and we're going to pump it up and over this berm to get the water out of this backyard. So this is a great job from start to finish. So pay attention, stay tuned. You're going to learn a lot. I'm going to flag out the entire system so that you can understand how I laid it out. I put an inlet basin in every area that's holding water in this backyard. That'll be the green flags. So come along, let's walk through. All right, then we're going to come back to the main. Another inlet in this pothole. Keep them low so the water falls right in. Over here, it's important that you keep this low, get that one low, catch that water. Get back to the main. It's like a horseshoe shape going around the yard. Another inlet. Recess that inlet to grab up the water, guys. Our French drain is going to come up here and we're going to create a blind inlet. So everybody pay attention. Dig this out, please. Dig this out, remove it all. Get it down. No pipe necessary. Stop the pipe right here. We're just going to put our fabric in. We're going to put 1.5 inch cobble in here. We're going to create a nice blind inlet. There's always water. It's kind of muddy here. And it's right where the gate is for egress and egress. So we just want a blind inlet there, guys. Going to get back to our system. An inlet. Going to come over here. Another inlet. All right. The French drain continues around the yard. Right here is where our sump system is going to be. Now right here, we're going to go up with our discharge line and we're just going to take it to just to the other side of that berm, guys, and that's it. All right, so right here, you get your French drain, your yard drain, one solid pipe, one perforated pipe, another inlet, recess it, make it easy for the water to fall in. We come up here and we meet at the gate again, another inlet, recess it. We dug this horseshoe-shaped drainage system around the backyard. The first 2 pipes we put in the trench on top of the fabric were our perforated pipe. This is the high octane royal blue corrugated pipe. It's 8 slots. It has 8 slots in every valley, and it has the largest inlets of any perforated pipe in the world. It's going to take in more water. Now, this is our outdoor sump pump system with 6 feet of added chamber. We want to cut down on the cycle times, so we want that chamber to be really long so that it can hold a lot of water. We're going to have our laser level in the very middle of the yard so that we can work off of that for our elevations to make sure that we have nice slope on our system. We want to drain all the water to that outdoor sump pump system. Here's all the pipe that's going to go in for this job. You can see we have a lot of 8 slot and we have our solid high octane armor pipe for our yard drain. Notice the feeder trenches. We have a main, and then off the main we have feeders up into ponding areas that collected a lot of water. This is how you want to design your system. You want the main to run through the heart of your yard where you want to tighten it up because you're going to have the French drain through that entire main horseshoe shape. But then where you have to go up into areas that are holding water and they're soft and they're trouble spots, you're going to want to have these feeders that come off the main. You're then going to put on top of the perforated pipe a solid pipe. This is going to be for all the inlets. We're going to drain all the surface water into a solid pipe. We don't want the dirt and grass blades to end up in your perforated pipe. It'll plug the perforations and your French drain will not work. You want to isolate your surface intake and the subsurface intake. We want to keep everything contained, all that contaminant in that solid pipe on top. These two bottom pipes, we want to preserve them. They will literally last forever if you build it like this. If you're going to feed grass blades and dirt and bark and all kinds of contaminant in them, you're going to give it an early expiration. Now, see how the guys did this going up into the next run? This is beautiful. When you can do this, try to go up in with that one parallel line to the other. Just go up into the next branch or feeder and then come back down. Go right back into your main. Really nice work. The guys did a beautiful job right there. Really happy with this crew. They make really good decisions. They do really smart things. I am just always impressed with this crew and the quality of workmanship. I'm going to be showing all the components up close. I'm going to be going in great detail throughout this video. Now that is an inlet that's on a 90 because it's at the very end of a feeder off the main. Now I'm going to show you an inline inlet that's throughout the main. You cut the main line, you splice it in. This is an inline. I'm going to show you up close. Now this has a directional flow, so you have to really watch when you install this. Whatever direction you want the water to start flowing, this is going to send it in that direction. So you got to be careful to not have that turned the wrong way. Now, right where your sump system is, the yard drain has to go into a giant catch basin. This is because all the grass blades and leaves, bark, dirt, any contaminant that gets in that yard drain, you don't want to feed it to your sump pump system. So you want this big box to catch all that debris. Now right here, Francisco did a really nice job of taking a riser that was a little too tall and he cut it down, and then he actually cut down the back of the turf restrictor plate too. Sometimes as you're spacing these inlets with risers, sometimes you find yourself where you need a height that's in between. So you have to kind of do a little bit of a drainage hack. So we'll go over that in another video, but just keep it in mind. Now you want to seal all these up really well, and I'll tell you why. You don't want your yard drain to catch the water and then the water to run down to your perforated pipes, because I'll tell you what's going to happen. Any grass, bark, dirt, any contaminant that gets in this system, you can see that directional T again. Anytime there's contaminant in that line, if you don't have your system sealed up tight, you're not going to flow water. If you can't flow water, how can you wash all that debris out of the system? So the guys are taping all the fittings. They're taping every connection on the yard drain. So that top pipe, the solid pipe that has all the inlets. Again, we don't want the water to run out at those fittings into the French drain. It seems harmless, but what's going to happen is the contamination in that pipe is going to stay in that pipe, and you're not going to flow it down to this big giant catch basin that's right before your sump. Now, this catch basin has the solid pipe that's on top of our French drain. The leaves and dirt, whatever happens to get caught in those inlets, it's going to fall in this catch basin. Now, we drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom of this catch basin, so after the rain event, what's left will just drain out of the bottom. We're going to knock out on the other side of that catch basin another hole, and then we're going to put some 8-slot and have it run over top of the outdoor sump pump system. So all the contaminants is going to fall in the bottom of that giant 20-inch catch basin. The water is going to be free of contamination. It's going to flow to the outdoor sump pump system. Once you have everything connected and in place, you can then put in the stone. But make sure you stand on the pipe, because the stone will try to get under the pipe and push the pipe up. So you'll notice that the guys stand on the pipe to hold it down as the stone is crashing on top of it. You can see here a nice cutaway on how you have that yard drain with the inlets to take in the surface water, and you have the perforated pipe. We have 2 of them underneath that running on the bottom of the French drain, because that's where all the water is going to end up in that trench. All the water falls to the bottom. Just like when you fill up a glass with water, it fills up from the bottom to the top. So will your French drain trench. So we have those 2 perforated pipes laying right on the very bottom. We also don't put any stone under our pipe. No need to. We have the drainage fabric. Now at this point, all the details matter. To have a really good system that's hassle-free to the homeowner, you got to be able to grow grass on this system. We're going to show you how to close this up, and we're going to show you how to prep it for turf. Remember, if you're building in the north, you want to put a thermostat-controlled heater inside this unit. We sell them. We also install them. If you buy an outdoor sump pump system from us and a heater, we'll install it for you if you ask us to. Now you can see these branches off the main. This is a great cutaway. I just love showing this. This is before the guys taped up all those fittings on that top pipe. You can see how they have that starting point with that inlet basin right there on a 90. Then we have a directional T inline inlet right there. Really nice, beautiful work the guys have done. I'm going to show you a bunch of inline inlets in series. We'll start right here. This one's already all taped up. Make sure those are always lower than the grade around it. You want the water to fall into it, and you want it to catch all the water. Here's another inline inlet. Here's another inline inlet. We're grabbing up all that water that was standing in that backyard. All those big puddles, all those areas that were ponding, we're grabbing all the water. Now, this is how you want to leave your French drain. You want to leave it a little low. That way you can add some dirt on top of your drainage fabric before you put the turf grass on. We're going to go through all this so that you guys know all the details. I want to make sure that everybody has a great experience. If you don't get this right, you're going to end up with a line in your yard where you can't keep it watered enough and the grass keeps drying out. This is a great cutaway right here. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. You can see that yard drain on top of the 2 French drain pipes. You can see the stone. You can see the fabric as we burrito wrap it. We trim the fabric so we don't have a lot of overlap. You just want a couple inches of overlap, and then take the fabric pins and push them in. You only need a fabric pin every 2 or 3 feet. It depends on the system and how tight you pull your fabric. Try to pull the fabric really tight because you don't want a lot of wrinkles. If you have a lot of wrinkles and overlap, you're not going to drain water into your system as well. Now, approximately 3 inches. It varies. I'm trying to give you guys a good guide that's going to get you close, but everybody's situation might vary a little bit. Cut your sod as thick as you can. Take the sod cutter that you rent and make sure you adjust it to the deepest notch. Cut off as much of your soil and root to your turf grass plants as you possibly can. Then you want to take topsoil and sand, 50-50 mix. We call it sandy loam. Go ahead and do 1 shovel of topsoil to 1 shovel of sand. Mix that up in a wheelbarrow and put that on top of your French drain. That way your French drain will work really, really well. Remember, the French drain is going to soak up all the water that's in the subsurface. The yard drain up top is going to get all that surface water. Let's do a quick walkthrough, and we're going to show all the branching off the main. All the branches go up into areas that were ponding, pooling water. We ran the French drain up those branches along with the yard drain. We have these inlets set lower than grade around it, so the water will fall in to the solid pipe on top. And you can see the guys are using a Y, and they've taped them all up on top. Those Ys are what you want to use. You don't want to use a T. The water just slams to a stop in a T. With a Y, you can see how the water just flows. It keeps the velocity up. It keeps the water moving. Remember to use a purpose-built tape for yard drains. A super sticky, super stretchy 200-year tape that's going to serve you well. If you found any of these tips helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. And if you have a video you want me to make, leave it in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.